Hey everyone, Michael here from Replica Air Guns, and hard to believe I'm even making this video, that I have to make this video. This is just insanity as far as I'm concerned, but we're going to talk here about Bill C-21. I know a lot of you have been asking me to make this video. I just wanted to do a little bit of research and think about it for a bit, not get, overly emotionally involved in it, because it is kind of it's going to be a hard pill to swallow if this comes into effect. But basically Canada, long and short of it, is going after your Red Ryder BB gun. They want to make this gun here, basically made in the 1940s, the Christmas Story, all those classic shows, shoot your eye out with the Red Ryder BB gun. They want to make this a prohibited firearm in Canada, okay? So we're going to get into that. We're going to kind of focus mostly on air guns and stuff, not so much with the other aspects of the Bill C-21, how they affect, but I will cover them a little bit. So I have scripted this out. So what I want to do is go through it. I just don't want to miss anything. This is such an important topic. This affects so many people in Canada. It's a multi-million-dollar industry. They're going after multi-billion-dollar industry if you take in effect all the firearms that they're going after, the whole industry as a whole here in Canada. So the long and the short of it is Bill C-21 is an attack on law-abiding Canadian gun owners and goes so far as to include the Daisy Red Ryder BB gun and many other air guns as prohibited firearms in Canada. Now, I'm not a lawyer or a bureaucrat, obviously speaking. I'm not either of those. So this video is my personal take on how I perceive the new gun laws and Bill C-21. Now, please do your own investigations on these laws and come to your own conclusions, okay? Because doesn't mean just because I say it doesn't mean it's all true. I could be taking some things out of context. Do your own research and your own investigation. Watch other videos. There's lots of videos, people talking about Bill C-21, how they're going to affect, all kinds of different firearms owners, and whether it be air guns or regular firearms here in Canada. Now, one thing I don't ask very often is that you please like and share this video with as many people as you can in Canada. And even if you're outside of Canada, you probably, reach a lot of people worldwide, Canada, all over the world. This is a new level of attack on Canadian gun rights, and we need to stand up for our gun rights, or there will be no more guns in Canada eventually. Okay, they're going to basically chip away at them. They've been chipping away at them for years, putting more and more regulations, and some of these regulations are good. I'm not going to deny that. There's different things that have happened, just training and just different ways, storage, transportation, all of these things are good or can be good, but some of these things are definitely not good for Canada. Now, this could happen in your country, and this has already happened in a lot of countries, so keep that in mind. Make sure to also sign up for the change.org petition. I'll put a link in the description of this email. Make sure to call and email your local MPs and firearms officers in your area. Again, I'm going to be putting links in the description and over on the website, replicaAirguns.com, where I'll have a written version of this video, okay? So how did we get here? Now, back in May of 2020, so, right just after COVID all took off, Trudeau, without going through Parliament, he banned some 1,500 or so what he referred to as assault rifles, okay? Dangerous assault rifles. And for the most part, but not exclusive to, anything that kind of looked scary, those black scary ones with the tactical rails, and that were mostly semi-auto in action. Now, many rifles with semi-auto actions, they weren't affected if they didn't look as scary, so they weren't affected. There's definitely lots of semi-auto firearms in Canada that for some reason, same caliber, same magazine capacity, same literal effectiveness, if you want to call it that, they weren't banned, okay? And even some bolt-action rifles were banned, and some shotguns were banned on this 1,500 gun ban. And believe it or not, I think even a couple airsoft guns at the time that they thought were AR-15s were banned. Now, this is because Trudeau thought that these were dangerous assault rifles, okay? So keep that in mind. He just did this himself. It was kind of like an executive order that he passed, but here in Canada, he just passed it on his own without going through Parliament. So Bill C-21 is now going after handguns in a similar capacity, but along with air guns that look like firearms. So this is going to have to go through Parliament. It will have to get passed. So that's why we're making these videos. That's why we're talking about it. We're going to try and raise enough, protest that something will be done, that this will be stopped or at least revised to make more sense. So in this video, I'm going to focus mainly on the airgun side of things and how Bill C-21 affects Canadians. So we are talking about BB guns, we're talking about pellet guns, airsoft guns, and even paintball guns, if you can imagine that. But do understand, if you own a handgun or even a rifle, Bill C-21 is coming after many of those guns as well, making them literally impossible to own and use in any capacity other than keeping them in a safe at all times until you die, in which at such time you'll have to relinquish them without payment to the government, okay? So that's what they want to do. They're going to say, okay, you can keep certain guns, they will be prohibited, but you know, you can keep them, just you can't do anything with them. And when you die, got to give them to us and we won't pay you a dime, okay? So how does Bill C-21 affect air guns? Previously, most air guns were classified as firearms, but were unregulated, so they didn't require registration or even a firearms license to sell, buy, own, or use. Now, Bill C-21 wants to make any air gun that looks like a firearm other than an antique firearm. So, hey, guess what? This is going to be okay, right? This is a replica. It doesn't do anything, but it's an antique. You can still have this and, you know, I guess whatever, put it in your car safely, drive it somewhere, you'll be okay. It doesn't have to be in a safe all the time, okay? So they want to make anything other than that prohibited. So this means you will not be able to import, sell, or buy them in Canada. You will be able to keep your existing prohibited firearms, or sorry, air guns, but with extensive limitations on how you can use them. Basically, you can't use them at all. And I'll get kind of more into that right now. So for the most part, you will want to keep your now prohibited air guns in a safe at home at all times, or you risk having them confiscated from you, since if you're transporting or using an air gun, the police have the right to ask you to produce a prohibited firearms license, which, if I'm not mistaken, has not been made available, so you can't get one since 1991. So the vast majority of gun owners, especially non-licensed holding air gun owners, so a lot of people that buy air guns, they don't have a gun license at all because it's not required. It hasn't been required. So they don't have a prohibited firearms license. There's no way they could even get one if they wanted to get one. And unfortunately, there's just not such a license available. It kind of seems convenient, right? So the police could literally, if they find you transporting it, or maybe even if they come to your door and there's an airsoft gun sitting behind the door, they can say, hey, you need to produce a prohibited firearms license for this air gun. And if you don't have it, because you don't have it, because you're not going to have it, who's going to have it? Then they can take it away. Literally, the only people that have prohibited firearms licenses are those people that had such prohibited guns prior to, I believe, 1991, when they made these guns prohibited, and they said, we're going to grandfather these people that have certain guns. We're going to provide them with a prohibited firearms license, and only those people can own, buy, and sell those to other prohibited firearms users. So I guess they could own one of these and transport it and do certain things and sell to other prohibited firearms owners. So who does Bill C-21 affect? Firearms in Canada is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and air guns are an ever-growing part of that industry. Bill C-21 affects importers, wholesalers, retailers, gun ranges, airsoft fields, gun organizations, gun groups, and of course, every firearm and airgun owner in Canada. Bill C-21 wants to eliminate many aspects of the firearms industry in Canada, putting large and small businesses out of business. That's what they want to do. Replica airguns will be gone if Bill C-21 is passed in Canada. Now, this is a business that I founded over 15 or 16 years ago, and we have many employees, we've got families, and of course customers that this is going to affect. So I guess the question is, how will Bill C-21, by eliminating the vast majority of air guns in Canada, keep Canadians safer and save lives as it proposes? Now, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. This has been like really tough to try and figure out. So please tell me, how many pellet rifles were used in mass shootings? How many drive-by shootings involved paintball guns? How many suicides have there been with BB pistols? How many police officers have died at the hands of an airsoft-wielding mad person, right? I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say probably 0, right? I think a lot of people would agree with me. And if any of these air guns had been used in these situations, that would have been a good thing, because the person that was using them would have probably been the only one who died at that point, right? They're not going to really kill a lot of people with these guns. Now, I want to end this video off with an example and an analogy of just exactly how ridiculous Bill C-21 is and how it will do absolutely zero to protect Canadians from criminals. So we have the classic Daisy Red Ryder BB gun. A lot of you probably learned how to shoot, your first air gun or your first gun in general with this gun. This came out in the 1940s. Some of our parents learned on this. Probably my dad experienced this. Might have been one of his first earlier guns. I don't know. It was probably, I don't think it was my first gun, but my son learned how to shoot with this one. This is going to be a prohibited firearm. Other than maybe shooting an eye out occasionally, not very often, wear eye protection. This is literally, as safe as it gets in terms of air guns, okay? So that's going to be a prohibited firearm. Got to be in a safe, all that. Here we have the Crosman 38T. It's a .177 caliber pellet pistol. You could probably barely break the skin with this, but it's fun to shoot. It's semi-auto revolver with the double action, single action trigger. A lot of fun. Back in the day, this one came out in 1964, okay? This is an old gun. I don't know how old this one is. I don't even know if it works. Prohibited firearm here in Canada, right? Dangerous. Crosman 357 revolver. This was my first revolver, my first pellet pistol I ever owned. Not this one, but one like it. And I had a ton of fun with this, shooting it in the field. Never once did I shoot myself. Never once did I kill anybody with this gun. Basically an upgraded version of this. Okay, so that brings us to, and all of those guns I just showed you, prohibited firearms in Canada. Can't import, sell, buy, use it really in any capacity. Yet, here we have the Air Ordnance SMG-22. This is a .22 caliber machine gun, okay? It fires basically .20 or 20 grain pellets, 22 caliber pellets as fast as you can, well, just not even as fast as you can pull the trigger. You hold that trigger down and 100 rounds out of a belt-fed magazine will stream out of this gun. And in about, a matter of seconds, you can go through this whole magazine, 100-round belt-fed magazine that goes in here. You can literally shred stuff with it, okay? This is an unregulated, you don't have to have a license. You can buy it in Canada, just like that. This is not on the C-21 ban list, okay? That just goes to explain how ridiculous this gun law is. Am I saying this is a dangerous gun? No. It's the only fully automatic .22 caliber rifle you can get in Canada and have some fun within your backyard. As long as you got a decent backstop, it's perfectly safe to shoot it, okay? Because it's only doing like maybe 450 feet per second, and it's, it's not throwing lead super fast. It's not, if you were to shoot someone with it, it would obviously hurt a lot. It could be very, very painful, but you could probably outrun this gun. Now, I want to offer an analogy on how Bill C-21 is supposed to make Canadians safer, something that's kind of like, I'm going to compare this gun law to, say, like something like a car insurance and cars. So let's get to this. So Bill C-21 is going after law-abiding licensed and registered gun owners and only allowing them to keep their non-prohibited guns, but not allowing them to use their prohibited guns in any real capacity. So prohibited guns must be in a safe at all times, unloaded and locked. You are not allowed to transfer them anywhere. You are not allowed to sell, loan, or give them to any other person. And upon death, the prohibited gun or guns must be relinquished to the government. According to Bill C-21, this is apparently going to stop or help stop non-licensed holding, non-gun registered criminals from committing gun-related crimes. So that would be like, and here's the analogy, this is like saying that ICBC, which is Canada's Vehicle Insurance Agency, after having looked into motor vehicle accidents and found that a high majority of vehicle accidents are caused by people that do not have driver's licenses and that do not have registered or insured vehicles. Furthermore, ICBC has come to the conclusion that vehicles related to these accidents oftentimes are import sedans that have been lowered and tuned. Okay, just to be specific, right? Because we're not going after every gun here. We're just going after scary guns. So in this case, we're going after potentially scary cars. So in order to reduce car accidents, ICBC will be focusing on drivers with driver's licenses and registered and licensed vehicles that fit that description, the scary ones, right? These registered and licensed vehicle owners will still be allowed to own their vehicles that fit this description and have them registered, but they will not be allowed to drive their vehicles anymore. Their vehicles must be kept in the garage at all times and never driven. Now, you cannot sell or loan your vehicle to anyone, and these vehicles will not be allowed to be imported, bought, or sold anymore in Canada Once you die, your vehicle is relinquished by the government without payment, no matter what its assessed value. Now, I know some of the people watching this video, you may not even be that interested in guns. I don't know if you're pro or anti-gun or whatever, but all you really need to be is pro-logic, pro-common sense to understand what's going on here. What's going on here doesn't make any sense. This isn't going to create any type of gun safety. Criminals do not care about gun laws. And the vast majority of crimes, gun-related crime, deaths, all of that is via criminals getting their guns across the border illegally, acquiring them illegally somehow. Okay, very few gun crimes are caused by actual registered firearms here in Canada. It's highly unlikely and very rare. So if you can, go right now to the change.org link, sign that petition, like this video, pass it on to other people. Let's get this out there. Let's let people know. I'm sure there's lots of people that are unaware of what's happening. We need to let everybody know. All right, thanks again for watching another Replica Airguns video. Until next time, take care.